Boom, the 49ers have made a big signing, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN. The San Francisco 49ers have agreed to terms with defensive tackle Javon Hargrave on a 4-year, $84 million contract with $40 million guaranteed at signing. This is a great deal for the 49ers, who go into this offseason with a few needs, one of those being defensive tackle, to be able to add some pass rush in that defensive interior. 49ers appear to have gotten that done today, agreeing to terms with Javon Hargrave. Hargrave going to be turning 30 this offseason, but he has been consistently productive throughout his career. This past year with the Philadelphia Eagles, racking up 11 sacks, a career high. That comes after a season the year before was 7.5. You go back and you look at what Hargrave has done throughout his career. Back in 2022, this past season, he had a total of 60 quarterback pressures. This is according to Pro Football Reference and PFF. 60 total pressures for Javon Hargrave in 2022 with the Eagles. That's not even his career high. He actually had 63 total pressures the season before in 2021. And then as a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2019, he hit 20 that season as well. So he's been near the top in terms of putting pressure on quarterbacks from the interior, something that the 49ers have desperately needed to add. When you look at this defensive line overall, last season you had Nick Bosa lead the team with 18.5 sacks, but beyond that, the 49ers really didn't get to the quarterback with any kind of consistency. Number two on their from their as far as their pass rush goes in 2022 was Samson Ebukam, who was able to get home only 5 times. So a big change here for the 49ers. And also when you look at what the 49ers did last year in their pass rush, they really got very little out of the middle of that defensive line. Of course, Eric Armstead was injured for most of the first half of the season. He came back. He actually did a really good job of helping the 49ers defensive front out, although he didn't have any sacks until the postseason. The pressure put on by Armstead on opposing quarterbacks led to multiple turnovers. And this is something that you look at this moving forward. 49ers defense with Javon Hargrave next to Eric Armstead, that's going to be tough for opposing offenses to work around. That's going to, one thing that quarterbacks dislike more than anything, pressure around the edge. That's one thing because they can step up into the pocket. But when you start getting pressure up into the face of the quarterback, that's when you start to get turnovers and those kind of mistakes. Again, that's why, as I mentioned, Eric Armstead played a big role in forcing a couple of interceptions that actually went to Jimmy Ward over the second half of the season. So adding Hargrave gives the 49ers that additional pass rusher up in the middle to really be able to close the pocket down on opposing quarterbacks. In addition, that should help out Nick Bosa, free him up as well. And then we'll see what the 49ers do in terms of the other edge rusher opposite of Nick Bosa. Don't think the 49ers are done yet here. Hargrave, I think, is probably the number one pickup for the 49ers in terms of the new additions. There may be some more, though. There is rumors out there that the 49ers have been discussing with Emmanuel Mosley's agents about wanting to bring the cornerback back, and that they are willing to match any offer that he receives. So in addition to Hargrave, you have the addition there with possibly with Emmanuel Mosley coming back. 49ers going to be building this team through the defense, it appears. They did lose right tackle Mike McGlinchey to the Denver Broncos. That was just reported a few minutes ago. But the big news right now for the 49ers, Javon Hargrave agreeing to terms with the 49ers per Adam Schefter of ESPN. 4 years, $84 million, $40 million guaranteed at signing. And again, this is a good deal for the 49ers. He's only turned 30, a 4-year contract, so they're not built out for too long on this. $40 million guaranteed. So you look at that number, it's really, they're on the hook for only $40 million over 4 years. That's definitely manageable for this team from salary cap standpoint. It'll be interesting to see how the 49ers move their money around to make this work. They don't currently have the cap space to make it happen, but they do have the ability with a variety of different players to restructure contracts to free up as much as $60 million in salary cap space. So it makes a ton of sense here to be able to bring in Javon Hargrave. 49ers love to build from that pass rush back. They're doing it again. And this is big step in the right direction. The 49ers along that defensive front now have Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave as starters that you can write in there. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Javon Kinlaw, another Javon that's on the team. Kinlaw working his way back. He hasn't been able to. He has not been successful as of yet. The draft pick there from 2020 has struggled. So this gives the 49ers the ability to really build a strong core of defensive pass rushers to get to the quarterback. Big piece for the 49ers. Once again, Javon Hargrave agreeing to terms with the 49ers on a 4-year, $84 million deal with $40 million guaranteed at signing. And this will be an interesting front to see how this all goes together. Remember, now Nick Bosa still as a possibility to re-sign with the 49ers. They're looking to get a long-term deal done with him. If they can get Nick Bosa done, that's a deal where the 49ers can actually possibly reduce his cap hit for this season. And then you look at the big money big money contracts that are out there. You get those on a longer term basis. A guy like Nick Bosa, I would expect to be a longer term contract and something that the 49ers would be able to rework a couple of different times in order to make everything work with Hargrave and the other players that they're going to be bringing in. Also, remember the salary cap is going to be going up quite a bit in the coming years. So that'll also play into their favor here as well. So as far as this defense, though, again, you're now seeing the way that this thing is structured. They signed Tayshaun Gibson yesterday. That is a good sign for the 49ers as well. Gibson on a 1-year deal, $2.9 million is what the numbers were reported as last night. Gibson signing doesn't preclude the 49ers from going out and adding another safety during the draft. What I would expect to see from the 49ers here, they've got their big fish. They might get a couple more. But for the most part, what you're going to see from the 49ers here over the course of free agency is they are going to plug the holes on their roster. Most of them are going to be on the shorter term deals. There's going to be a couple big ones like you saw here with Hargrave, and then they'll be able to supplant that with depth throughout with the draft. So big signing here for the 49ers, Javon Hargrave, new member of the 49ers, coming off of a season in which, again, he had 11 sacks in 2022. Over the last 4 seasons, he has been one of the more prolific deep pass rushers from the interior. Over that time, he has 3 of the 4 seasons with a total of at least 60 combined pressures on the quarterbacks. And he's racked up in the last 2 years with Philadelphia, 18.5 sacks, 11 coming in 2022. So big addition, Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead. That's going to be a heck of a defensive front for the 49ers. And really quick, want to pull this one up. We have Barry Baller wants to know, heck, how they pull this off, Jack. Hey, the 49ers have a good team. They're going to have a lot of cap space. Like I've been wrote an article back at the beginning of February about the 49ers having the ability to create cap space. There's 6 players, Charvarius Ward, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Trent Williams. There's a couple of them there. There's a total of 6, and they can create up to $60 million in cap space. So you go and you do this 4 years, $84 million. It averages out to $21 million. But the big number here is the guaranteed at signing being $40 million. So we'll have to wait and see how this contract is structured. But I would expect there's going to be a good signing bonus here that really maximizes it for the player. And then we'll see how much, at what point that the 49ers, what those dead cap hits look like. But a 4-year, $4 million deal with only $40 million guaranteed at signing, that is a good deal for the 49ers. And I think that's how they were able to get this done. But 49ers are always players. The team, players know that the 49ers are one of the top teams in the NFL. They've been to at least the conference championship game 3 out of the last 4 seasons. Players want to play with good teams, and they're willing to take big money to do it, as you can see here with Javon Hargrave. So great signing for the 49ers, I think, in the short term, for sure. And we'll see how it plays out over the long term. But 49ers building up that defensive front going into 2023. Keep it locked in here to Inside the 49ers with all the breaking news as it happens throughout free agency with the 49ers. We'll make sure we bring it to you, and as well as our longer shows as well. So thanks, everybody who tuned in. 49ers, once again, before I tune out, 49ers agreeing to terms with Javon Hargrave, defensive tackle from the Philadelphia Eagles, 4 years, $84 million with $40 million guaranteed at signing. Please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. When you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification as well so you don't miss any of the breaking news here at Inside the 49ers with Jack Hammer. Take care, everybody. We'll be back with you soon.